Welcome back to Toke It Out. How are you guys? My name is Maddy Tokes, and this is, again, Toke It Out. What are you guys toking on today? I am still toking on. If you guys listened to last week, if you guys didn't, then you don't know. I still am toking on the Geek Bar Capricorn. I'm not a Capricorn. I'm a Libra, but I'm toking on the Capricorn lol MKX Geek Bar. Why? Because I am. Because it's very tasty, honestly. But what are we toking about today? Ha ha ha. Get it? That's why it's called Token Out. Duh. Is the dark side of Disney. So, Disney adults, cover your ears or keep them open if you want to know the truth. No, I'm just joking. This is just like, Disney is such a big, powerful corporation that obviously there are conspiracy rumors and a quote unquote dark side of Disney. So, Disney execs, if you're listening to this, I'm not saying any of this stuff is true. I'm just saying these are the fun things out on the internet about Disney and the dark underbelly of the mouse, whatever that means. So, to start off, why does Disney have so many conspiracies? Like I just said, because they're a giant, powerful corporation. Not only that, but they've got like a lockdown on their copyrights and stuff. They have a Club 33, which is a very exclusive, and some might describe mysterious club. Just saying. But also, Disney has secret tunnels, which have been described as an entire city underground under Disney World. It's actually under Magic Kingdom. And in reality, it's tunnels and corridors that are used for cast members, costume changes, trash removal, and emergencies. Some people think that down there happens dark experiments. There are cry rooms and secret dungeons. In reality, they're, again, just practical tunnels, but it is still very creepy that there are entire corridors and tunnels under Magic Kingdom because it seems like there should just be ground, right? It's kind of giving Stranger Things like under the mall. There's like the whole Russian lab. It kind of feels like that. So I understand why people are like, that's spooky. That's pretty spooky. Old animatronics are stored down there, though, and rumors of cast members hearing voices and footsteps have been floated out there by former cast members. But to have long, silent hallways down there under Disney World, under the happiest place on earth, I don't know. I don't know. That's pretty scary. Now, Disney is also known for their haunted attractions, quote unquote. The number one being the Haunted Mansion, obviously. Some people think it's cool to spread ashes at the Haunted Mansion and on the ride, which let me go ahead and tell you right now. Please do not be spreading ashes anywhere at Disney World or Disneyland because when you do, they have to shut down the entire ride and bring in a hazmat team to clean them up. So those ashes won't even be there. Let me tell you. And Disney keeps things so clean, those ashes are not going to be there for a while anyways, babe. So like very nice of you. Bring a picture to hold of your loved one on the ride and it's like you guys are riding together. Bring the ashes with you and keep it in your pocket. Don't put those maybe don't bring them. Maybe don't bring them. I'm just saying. Yeah, guests illegally scatter ashes of loved ones. Some people believe that this leads to real hauntings. Does it? Probably. Are you fucking kidding me? And honestly, I hate to like rip this band-aid off. So if you don't want to hear something about your cremated loved one, skip ahead 30 seconds. But your cremated loved one, the ashes that you have, are likely the cremated ashes of your loved one and other people. Just so you know, it's not just your loved one. So that means that there's tons of people there's like you're spreading Uncle Larry and somebody else's Aunt Jill and somebody else's grandma and somebody else's dog, not dog, because that's not true, but like, and somebody else's ashes. You're forcing these people to haunt the Haunted Mansion. And what if they were scared of rides? Look what you just did. That is so rude. So don't do that. Don't scatter ashes. Cast members have reported cold spots, voices, and weird tech malfunctions on the Haunted Mansion as well, which adds to the spookiness. You like that? Adds to the spookiness. Okay, whatever. It's a small world. The pause doll theory, there has been apparently reported the dolls and the animatronics will go off by themselves in It's a Small World, and some animatronics will blink, which is so spooky. And It's a Small World is spooky when it's on. Hey, when it's on, I've seen videos of it. It's spooky as fuck. Have you seen the guy? This is spooky in a whole other way. Have you seen the guy that, and he's clearly on drugs or having like an episode or something. So, like, no hate to this man, but he gets butt naked on the ride and they have to stop the ride and he's just climbing on the It's a Small World. That happened months and months ago, so it's certainly an old video, but I do think about it sometimes and I think that's wild. Why would you do it on It's a Small World? Like the creepiest ride? You were clearly tripping out, dude. So crazy. But obviously, the dolls that are moving are probably old wiring. That's the reality of it, truly. There's a hanging doll photo that's circulated online. What's that? Okay. I don't see anything online. I don't see the doll. If it was there, it's what is this? Oh, there was in 1999, a family visited Disneyland. We happily rode the Small World ride. I was 12 at the time and my sister was 6. We loved each and every moment and our parents smiled with nostalgia. At one time near the end, the lights suddenly shut off and the rear light illuminated the ceiling. The moving display parts shut off and the crew members wearing red overalls walked along to help passengers in the boats onto the stages to directly out of the building via the emergency exits. A voice came on the loudspeakers. Disneyland thanks you for your visit. Please evacuate the attraction in an orderly fashion. Please keep looking forward and follow the directions of the staff. Thank you. The staff wouldn't tell us much as we quickly were ushered out of the building. Ambulances were outside and the police cars were parked in the main walkway. At the time, my mother still had a camera out and snapped a few photos of the crewmen and close ups of the mechanical children. She snapped a few last-minute photos of whatever to use up the last of the rolls of film, since we were going to develop them that afternoon anyways, and the last photo on the reel aimed at the ceiling of the attraction. And it's this doll that's, like, hanging from the ceiling. I mean, it's definitely spooky. It doesn't look like a real person, though. Like, so I'm not sure that's why you're being ushered out, or if they just, like, couldn't see that it wasn't a real person, they just called the authorities ASAP. But if that's a real person, I'm very surprised, just FYI, so but it is very creepy, it's very creepy. Next, we're moving on to the Pirates of the Caribbean. Real human bones were originally used in the movie or the ride. Skeletons were once medical cadavers. Ooh. Some claim a few what? Were they really? I don't think so. You guys are weird. No, there's no way. And if it is real, what? Some say few remain. When it first came out, they were medical cadaver skeletons. Did somebody like buy the wrong skeletons and they were like, yeah, these look great. They look so authentic. Because they were? That's spooky. Somebody tap in and let me know because I can't look this up. You guys, I can't do it. But on the ride, there's rumored to be a ghost named George who must be greeted or the ride breaks. Do you think the cast members are like, "Well, I'm gonna test this," and the ride breaks, and they're like, Did you not think George? Did you not tell him what's up? Are you for real? You didn't dap up George before you went on the ride? Oh, of course you did. That'd be crazy. I think my light just moved when I did that. That's crazy. On Space Mountain, people say they see a man shadow figure on the tracks, which some believe it's a former guest who died on the ride, which is true. On Space Mountain, it looks like, oh, excuse me, Thunder Mountain. I guess this is Thunder Mountain, so Space Mountain, maybe not. So on Thunder Mountain in 2003, a guy did die. But Space Mountain? I don't know. Either way, nothing says childhood like an accidental haunting. Stupid. Now, the dark history of Disney animation and the movies. Hidden messages are sometimes rumored to have been put into the base into the animation. Apparently, the word sex is in the Lion King Dust Cloud. Animators says it spells FXF. Nope. SFX. Like special effects. But let's be honest. Did it? I don't know. I never noticed that as a kid, so I don't know. And The Little Mermaid, the VHS cover has an inappropriate castle shape. It's a phallic type castle shape in the Little Mermaid. I feel like I've looked that up before on the internet, but I'm not sure if I've really seen it or not. Feels like all those things kinda were phallic shape. Maybe maybe I just had phallic on the brain, whatever. Stupid. There's a Jessica Rabbit wardrobe malfunction rumor. No, no, I'm pretty sure that's not real, and a lot of it is blamed on, like, rogue animators and whatever, and I'm like, good for the animators, like, stick it to Disney a little bit. Stick to the big corps. There's a rumor out there that the movie The Black Cauldron, 1985's The Black Cauldron animated, was almost rated R because they had to cut scenes because cauldron-born zombie soldiers were too terrifying, which as a child, yeah, but I'm not sure we're doing R ratings for The Black Cauldron then. Because if you know what The Black Cauldron is, it's actually very cute. Let's see. In the land of Pride Aim, lowly pig herder Taran dreams of becoming a gallant knight. Young Taran, or Taran, whatever, receives his heroic calling when an evil horned king kidnaps Henren, a prophesying pig that what? A prophesying pig that has been entrusted to Taran. Now with the help of his furry sidekick, Gurgi, and Princess Elowarani? What the fuck are these names? Whatever. Taran must locate the magical Black Cauldron before the Horned King is able to use its mystical powers to summon the army of the undead. Kinda sounds cool as fuck, to be honest. Oh, and this came out on New Year's in 1985? What a good way to start the year. Only a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes. People hated it? Whatever. I'm watching this. Fuck you guys. It's probably a great movie. It's on Disney Plus if you have that. But would that be terrifying for a kid? Yeah, absolutely. No wonder it's PG and not G. Okay. Fantasia, occult symbolism. Some people say that Fantasia uses demon spirits and ritualistic imagery. Yes, it does. Are you kidding me? If you've seen Fantasia as a kid and you weren't scared, I was like, "What is happening?" Like, and when he makes like the brooms dance or whatever, I was like, "This is a nightmare. This is not fun, Mickey. This is not fun. This is scary, and you're making all the things come alive, and I don't like that." So that was me as a kid. If you loved it, good for you, weirdo. I'm joking, you're fine. People believed Walt dabbled in eccentric symbolism. Well, I might believe that that one's true. But Fantasia was definitely weird. It was definitely like Fantasia, I can't, you guys. It was part of it was weird, okay? And I don't wanna hear anything about it, okay? So, Walt Disney, let's move on from the animations to the full-on conspiracies. If you guys don't know, the number one Walt Disney conspiracy is that he had his body cryogenically frozen after death, and I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know. Is that real? No. They say that he is frozen, and they say he's frozen below the Pirates of the Caribbean. In truth, he was cremated. Still, fans claim that he really was frozen and that the cremation was a hoax. Do I believe that he was frozen? No, not really. I believe that he was cremated. And why? Because I just don't believe that at the time of his death that that technology existed. Like, I don't and if it did, it certainly was a lot more primal, I guess? No, a lot more primitive than it would be right now. So, I don't know. But to go along with that, another rumor, the movie Frozen was named Frozen basically to bury the search results on the cryogenic rumor on Google. So if you look up Frozen Disney, it doesn't come up with the conspiracy theories anymore. It comes up with the movie Frozen about Elsa and Anna. Could that be true? That one might be true. That one might be a really long-term PR plan to stop with those rumors, honestly, because it those rumors I became so big at some point that I remember hearing about them as a child. So, I know that certainly there is validity to it. Whatever. Not validity to it. It's not real. There is. Yeah, there's validity to it. That's what I mean. Yeah, for sure. Another one is Walt's apartment in Disneyland is haunted. Okay, they say the lamp that stays lit on its own. Cast members claim footsteps, shadows, and cold breezes. I don't really know much about that, but if I was Walt Disney and I created this entire thing, and I had an apartment in Disneyland and then I died and they kept my apartment there, yeah, that's where I'm going. Hell yeah, why wouldn't I go back to my house? Because they're crazy. Of course I'm going back to my house. So, does his ghost remain there? Maybe. And good for his ghost. As he should. That's his apartment. Duh. People say that Walt Disney has ties to secret societies like the Freemasons and the Del More, and the D Mole, and the Demole, whatever. Fans point to symbolism in his early cartoons. He might have been a Freemason. I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm not about to look it up because it really doesn't matter. But he could have been. And again, it doesn't really matter. I'm not saying that the Freemasons aren't a cult. I'm just saying that if he did have ties to it, it probably wasn't. I don't know. Why would I say that? Because why would I say he wasn't? I have no idea. I have no idea about Walt Disney like that. So was he? I don't know. Maybe. I guess we're leaving it at that. The secret societies? Okay, whatever. Okay. And of course, there are the abandoned Disney parks like River Country. River Country closed after it was not specifically linked to a boy in 1980 that died after he contracted an amoeba disease, but it did close after that. Years later, but it did close after that. So it was officially closed in 2001. River Country was then basically left to rot and was a great like urban exploration place for people. And then it officially started being destroyed in the demolished, not destroyed, demolished in the late 2010s. And then in 2018, it was officially completely demolished. And they are now currently building some Disney Riverside lodging, whatever. Very cool. Love it, I guess. And then Discovery Island off of I think it's called Bay Lake in right by Disney World. Discovery Island was basically left to rot and still is left to rot. It closed in like the 70s or whatever. It's this little island in the middle of this lake. Things are overgrown there, and it's rumored to be used for experiments. I love that rumor. I don't think it's real, but I love the idea of there being, like, a secret Disney island where they're doing crazy things, but, like, let's be real, guys, is it real? I don't know, probably not. Maybe. And the people who think I'm here by Disney telling you that it may not be real, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I think Disney's got enough money that they're not, like, going to the old island to do that kinda stuff, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that the island is where Disney is doing creepy things, you know? But can you imagine those animatronics sitting in that abandoned forest, just, like, being left to nature? Ugh, ugh. Spooky. And honestly, that's what they should turn it into, just turn it into Spooky Island. Hello. Turn it into Coca-Cola. Hello, stop. But for real, they should turn it into Spooky Island. Discovery Island? Spooky Island. Hello. Please do it, Disney. I wanna go on a spooky Disney tour. I want a whole island park of spooky things, okay? I know you just made Dark Universe, but I want more. I want more. Okay, so Disney doesn't really like to talk about the dark incidences that have happened in the park. I can understand why, because why are you talking about the darkest things at the happiest place on earth? Again, Disney adults, click off now. There have been horrible accidents at both Disney World and Disneyland, though. Again, we talked about Thunder Mountain and the monorail accidents. Thunder Mountain in 2003, some guy died. That is really sad and tragic and spooky as well. But there's a rumor also that nobody dies at Disney. So there's rumors that Disney will move bodies off of the property before pronouncing them dead, or like that is something that they do so that nobody's pronounced dead at Disney. That feels spooky and sinister for whole other reasons. There have been tragic cast member accidents and stuff, and I mean, even if it wasn't a death and a tragic accident, those energy burns like we talked about a couple weeks ago, I guess back in November now. Ooh, we're we're well into December, honey. Back in November, people claim to still see them working their favorite attractions, which I think is sweet. I think that's nice, especially if you were a cast member and love to work at Disney and you just wanna keep working at Disney because it is your happiest place on earth, good for you. That's awesome. But not awesome that you died there. That's not awesome. But I guess if there's any place to haunt, I guess Disney's like a magical place to haunt. If you like that. If you don't, then it's a nightmare. If you don't like Disney and you die there, oh my god, that's scary. Or you have to, like, ride the ride the rest of your life, the guy on Thunder Mountain, he's just riding that forever. I hate that. The People Mover used to be a thing at Disney, I believe Disney World, maybe Disneyland, but 2 riders did die, and 1 girl did fall 30 feet onto the concrete and broke her hip and arm and I think her clavicle as well, and she sued Disney. I don't know what happened with all that, but that did apparently happen according to the internet. According to Google, there's a Lost Boy rumor, an urban legend of a child who haunts the Tom Sawyer Island. Some little boy allegedly got lost and was never found, and now his ghost haunts the Tom Sawyer Island. I don't know what the Tom Sawyer Island is, but I think if he is haunting there, if he's a little boy that died at Disney, let him haunt Disney, okay? He's probably happy as fuck. And if he's not, I feel bad. I'm so sorry, little boy. Like, trauma imprints on places and stuff. So if you're seeing ghosts at Disney, it's probably because something traumatic happened. And, like, no place is perfect. Even the happiest place on earth can be traumatic. So Disney parks also kind of feel like liminal spaces. Disney parks are kind of eerie because there's no other place in the world like them. So you're very much in a unique place where your brain is like, I'm trying to process where I even am and to relate it to another place. And it's hard because there's no other place like this. I mean, there's theme parks, theme parks. What am I like thinking of? I guess theme parks, like roller coaster parks. I don't know. What am I? Yeah, sure. Cedar Point and all that. There's parks like that, but Disney World is such a unique thing that not only shaped all of our childhoods. So at night, an empty Main Street can feel so eerie. If you were at Disney late and it's like after the parade and stuff and there's empty Main Street and you can see it, I'm sure that is just like kind of creepy because it's so crowded at certain times. Animatronics powered off, but they're still staring. That is fucking creepy. That is very Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Disney. That's the sequel. It's Five Nights at Disney, and it's just like that's what they're gonna. Well, I mean, they already made a Steamboat Willie horror movie. Why did they immediately make a horror movie about that? That came into the licensing, and they had that written and ready to go. And obviously, like the giant perfect sets that they build, they're giant. So it's one of those things where it's big things in places where they shouldn't be, kind of. I was just telling my friends about my fear of that the other day, and they were like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "They're not supposed to be there." Talking about the windmills that are in the middle of like cornfields and stuff. I can't talk about it, you guys. Cast only zones kind of feel like horror games, right? Like you can't go into these places and you're like, what could be in there? Especially when there's so much out here, what are they not showing us? You know what I mean? But liminal spaces obviously trigger primal discomfort, so I'm sure at times Disney kind of feels maybe not discomfort, but, like, overwhelming of, like, just how different and how unique it can really be. But Disney is also engineered to feel unreal because that's the magic that it's trying to give off. So that magic can definitely make your brain, and especially as an adult who's not taking in the innocence of the magic, but as an adult who's like trying to kind of make sense of it all can be overwhelming and make your brain panic a little bit. But why do Disney conspiracies hit so damn hard? Well, mostly because like I said, Disney has shaped our childhoods. I mean, for decades and decades. I mean, almost, I want to say, you know, 70 some years, Disney has been around shaping our lives. And that mix of like nostalgia from your childhood and like the little bit of danger behind it is totally, it's exciting. It's exciting. It's addictive in some ways. The secretiveness of certain places like Club 33 and stuff fuels the myths. And obviously, the internet is going to romanticize it. Disney is a cultural monolith. It's a, pillar in nostalgia, in childhood, in our, society, in our zeitgeist, in culturally. I mean, in many countries, there's Disney World Paris, there's Disney World Hong Kong, there's Disney World whatever. So projecting the stories onto it makes a lot of sense. Now, Disney also has the secret society, what is it? Club 33. Yeah, Club 33, which is also totally just a breeding ground for rumors about how secret society Disney can be. But really all it is, I mean, it's a $50,000 initiation fee. It's a money grab. It's a money grab for, like, super fans and wealthy executives and stuff, and wealthy people who just wanna be a part of it. I'm sure that you get a lot of benefits being a part of Club 33. I'm just not that super fan of Disney to wanna do that, but Holly Madison has said on her podcast that it's basically just another way for them to make money, another restaurant and exclusivity and another I'm dying over here. Another VIP experience. So, if you guys have any kind of haunting Disney story that I did not mention, please tell me below. I am super, super interested because Disney is such a, like I said, a monolith, a pillar. Disney is such a giant corporation that it's intimidating. And I think as people who, we kind of want them to be cut down to size also. So the conspiracies and the theories and all that kind of help me. Probably a lot of you didn't even get this far, so I appreciate you all that did. Go listen to last week's episode. I know it was teeny tiny and very short, so it's gonna be a little good and a little bite-sized for you. But we are starting our Toke It Up series. We are talking to celebrities, basically celebrities, local celebrities. We're talking to Michigan cannabis industry employees and really celebrities. That might be a good word for it. So definitely check it out. It's part of our Toke It Out, Toke It Up series. And whatever, I was like, whatever. So silly, you guys. Tell your weird uncle about me. Go watch last week's episode. Go listen to my last week's interview. And I'll see you next week. Bye.